Welcome to Peninsula Backstage, the show that looks inside local live theater and talks about upcoming productions that you can go see. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the birth of one of America's best-known playwrights, Tennessee Williams. His works include The Glass Menagerie, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and A Streetcar Named Desire. The Dragon Theater in Palo Alto is performing A Streetcar Named Desire from July 29th through August 21st. And today on Peninsula Backstage, we have with us Jeannie Smith, the director of the show, and Meredith Hagedorn, who is playing Blanche Du Bois. Jeannie has been a director and dramaturg for more than 20 years in professional and community theater, and she also serves as the Associate Artistic Director at the Pear Avenue Theater, which was featured on Peninsula Backstage in April. And she writes theater reviews for the Palo Alto Weekly. Meredith is an equity actor with more than 20 years of experience in the Bay Area, Los Angeles, and beyond. And she also teaches private acting classes in Palo Alto. In addition to playing Blanche Du Bois, she is the executive producer of this production of Streetcar, and she is the managing artistic director of Dragon Productions Theater Company. Jeannie, Meredith, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome to Peninsula Backstage.
Thank you.
So, A Streetcar Named Desire is one of many popular, powerful plays by Tennessee Williams, and the winner of the Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 1948. So tell us, in addition to those things, what made you decide to include it in your season?
Well, this play and being a part of telling this story has been on my bucket list for over 20 years now, and as an actor, I was very interested in playing the role of Blanche Du Bois, had some very clear ideas of how I wanted to portray her for a very long time now. So I said at this particular time, his 100th birthday year, thought it was a really perfect time, and everything just fell into place when I was talking with my friend Jeannie about this production, and she said that it happened to be a bucket list play for her as well.
And I said, let's do it. I could totally see Meredith as Blanche. I've worked with Meredith before. She was in a production I directed at the Pear several years ago. So I knew she'd be a fabulous Blanche. And yeah, it was definitely one that I've been wanting to do for decades as well.
So this is your first time directing Streetcar?
First time directing Streetcar, although I have directed other Williams plays. I've directed Night of the Iguana and Eccentricities of a Nightingale, and I love his work. I just love working with this writer, these plays. They're fabulous.
Yes, yes. So tell us what Streetcar is about. What's the premise?
Well, it's set in the time that he wrote it, in 1947. In New Orleans, in the summer is when it begins, and it's a clash of cultures in a way, and a clash of the past with a more modern age, post-World War II. Blanche Du Bois comes to stay with her sister Stella and her husband Stanley. And they're living in a tiny apartment in the French Quarter, and we see almost immediately that there's a clash between Blanche and Stanley, and that develops over the course of the play and ends rather tragically. So I don't know if I want to say much more than that.
Understandable.
The character of Blanche is kind of well known, at least in theater circles, for her delicacy, her sensitivity, her appreciation of finer things, her refinement, but also for her fantasy world. She lives in a lot of illusion, partly fueled by alcoholism and disappointment, and some hard knocks that life has given her. So she's looking for refuge, she's looking for a way to move forward with her life, but she's not going to find it here.
I think this is part of the reason why I know speaking for myself, why I wanted to take on this challenge. I know a lot of other actresses are very interested in the challenge of Blanche Du Bois because she is so layered and damaged, and there's just so many intricate webs that she weaves with the different characters that she interacts with, and it's such a wonderful challenge, wonderful and terrifying, but so exciting.
When we had our first read-through, almost every person at the table talked about this being a bucket list play for them because it's so deep, the layers, the richness, the material. And it's the kind of play you just work on it and you keep finding things, you keep discovering new layers, nuances that you hadn't thought of before. And that's just rich stuff to sink your teeth into. So.
Now, do you think that's part of what makes this play a classic? I mean, you mentioned that it takes place, you know, when he wrote it in 1948, yet it's continually filmed and staged, so,
yeah,
you know.
It's pretty timeless in terms of what Blanche goes through, her emotional arc, the kind of problems that she encounters, and her failure to deal with them sufficiently, shall we say. In 1947, when it premiered, the audience applauded for half an hour at Curtin. I mean, it was instantly recognized for the richness of the material. And I think that's what makes people keep coming back to it. It's not gonna go away. It's something that lives as kind of an American icon in a way.
I think obviously too, we talked about the movie, and I think that the play is haunted a bit by the film and the really strong images of Marlon Brando and Vivian Leigh, and so I think that that's another challenge that I was interested in taking on, is trying to step out of that shadow a little bit, try to tell our own story, which is one of the challenges we were talking about before, is that the Dragon Theater is very small, a very intimate space, and a lot of people said, how can you do this play in the Dragon Theater? You don't have 2 stories for the spiral staircase, and you know, how can you do that? And this was another reason why I thought that Jeannie was a perfect partner to embark on this journey with, because she said, I have a clear vision of how we can step away from that and tell our own story and have a more minimal setting, basically, for us to just really shine with the actors and telling the story.
Right. So let's talk about this performance space at the Dragon. Tell us what it looks like, and then how you use that to influence the set design.
Yeah, it's a really intimate space, 25 feet by 25 feet. So we're talking small.
Yeah.
And the height of the ceiling, it's 13 feet. So we can't have 2 stories. So we have to get creative, and that's what Jeannie is doing.
I had a vision from the start of really streamlining the production as much as possible. And I initially pictured it on just a series of platforms and really wanting to focus on Blanche, the character of Blanche, and what she goes through and her particular journey. The film and a lot of stage productions, I think, tend to lean heavily on the character of Stanley. And it's much more about him. But Blanche's story is the one that I think drives the play. And so I really wanted to focus on that. And for that, you don't need a lot of scenery or a lot of set. And just wanting to really strip away some of the dressing and detail that might distract. From telling Blanche's story.
Yes. Excellent. So the other characters, in addition to Blanche, we have Stanley, who we've mentioned, and Stella, her sister. So tell us a little bit about them. What are they like, and what motivates them, and what do they want?
Well, this was going to be a really important aspect of this whole production for me, is just to putting everything together so that we all can continue to enjoy ourselves and enjoy the experience. And I think Jeannie found an amazing cast. Stella Du Bois, my sister, is played by Katie Anderson, whom I've worked with before. I've directed her. I know how wonderful she is to work with. And Andrew Harkins is our Stanley, and I also worked with in the play that Jeannie directed back in 2007, Three Sisters, at the Pear Avenue Theater. So she's worked with him before.
Yeah, so it was really fun pulling together these actors that I knew would be great for these characters, and now getting to work with them, it's just a dream. It's wonderful. They're all so good and so responsive. Stanley, what does Stanley want? Stanley wants his life to continue the way it has been. He rules the roost. He's very dominant. He's very rough-hewn character. Macho, perhaps, would be the word now. Very much the boss of his world and his wife.
Ah, and what about her?
And when Blanche comes in, she disrupts that. She upsets the balance and challenges his domination and challenges his hold over Stella.
Ah, so Stella's caught in the middle.
Stella's caught in the middle, and she, of course, has chosen her life with Stanley and is quite happy with it. And then Blanche comes along and kind of reminds her of how she grew up, the refined circumstances of her youth, maybe gives her a little bit of doubt about her relationship with Stanley and where that's headed. So there's some push-pull around Stella that really has to do with these two worlds coming into conflict.
And I'm sorry.
I didn't want to be remiss and not mention my Mitch, who is
Mitch.
Troy Johnson, and he is a director and actor that I've seen at the Pear quite frequently, actually, and love him to death. Yes, we're having so much fun falling in love. And then, I suppose, falling out of love.
Well, we're going to see a little bit of the falling in love part.
Yes.
Our field crew went to the Dragon to get a look at what goes on the weeks before a show opens. So we're going to see portions of the designer run-through. So can you just briefly say what that is?
The designer run usually happens after the show has been fully blocked and the actors are pretty much off book, or they've memorized their lines for the most part. And it's a way for the design team, the production team, to watch a run through and get a sense of the flow of the show, the staging, to kind of watch for any technical issues that might arise, or seeing how they're going to work the lighting, things of that nature. So it's not really about the acting at that point so much as seeing the way the show is staged. However, for the actors, it's the first time they really have an audience. So for them, it's a little bit of stepping up into a performance mode.
Right.
So we'll see a little bit of that.
All right.
And I think you'll see from the clip, some people are a little more memorized than others.
But 3 weeks, three weeks before opening, I think we're...
It was in good shape.
All right. So no costumes yet, and the set
No
props
costumes.
aren't finalized, but we're going to see what we're going to see.
Okay.
All right, let's watch.
Hey, Stella! Hey, there's Stella, baby!
Don't holler at me like that.
Catch!
What?
Meat!
Where you going?
Bowling!
Can I come watch?
Come on!
I'll be there in a minute. Oh.
What's the matter, honey? You lost? They told me to take a streetcar named Desire, transfer to one called Cemetery, go 6 blocks, and get off at Elysian Fields.
This here's Elysian Fields. That's where you're at now.
At Elysian Fields?
This here's Elysian Fields.
Well, they mustn't have understood what number I wanted.
What number was you looking for?
632?
You don't have to look no further.
Well, I'm looking for my sister, Stella Du Bois. I mean, Mrs. Stanley Kowalski.
That's a party.
You just did miss her, though. Can this be her home?
What's all this monkey doing?
Oh, Stan. I'm taking Blanche to Galatoire's for supper tonight, because it's your poker night.
Well, how about my supper, huh? I'm not going to no Galatoire's
I
for supper.
put you a cold plate on ice.
Well,
I'm going to try to keep her out till the party breaks up, because I don't know how she would take it.
isn't that just dandy?
And we'll probably go to a little place in the quarter afterwards. You better give me some money.
Where is she?
Soaking in a hot tub to quiet her nerves. Well, looks like you boys are still at it.
Where you been?
Blanche and I took in a show. Blanche, this is Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Hubble.
Oh, please don't get up.
No, nobody's going to get up, so don't get worried.
How much longer is this party going to continue?
Until we get ready to quit.
Poker is so fascinating. Could I come in?
You could not.
Excuse me.
Why don't you women go up to Eunice's?
Because it's nearly 2:30. Couldn't y'all quit? Couldn't y'all quit after one more hand? Oh, stop it, Stan. That's not fun. Makes me so mad when he does that in front of other people.
I think I will bathe.
Again?
My nerves are shot. Is the bathroom occupied?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh!
Hello.
Hello. Mr. Harold Mitchell, this is my sister, Blanche Du Bois.
How do you do?
How do you do, Miss Du Bois?
How's your mother, Mitch?
Pretty much the same. Thanks. She appreciated your sending over that custom. Excuse me. I wasn't listening.
You playing?
What were you doing then?
He was looking through them drapes.
Oh.
Now deal the hand over again and let's play cards or quit.
All right.
Some people get angst when they win. Sit down.
Yeah, sure he's got
Fill me
ants
out.
in his
I'm
pants.
going to the head.
Well, sure he's got ants in his pants. 7 $5 bills in his pocket all tied up like spitwads.
Tomorrow you'll see him down at the cashier's window, change them into quarters.
And when he goes home, he'll deposit them one by one in a piggy bank.
All right, boys. This game is Spit in the Ocean.
Yes. Come in. Oh, hello.
Hello. Excuse me.
Oh, the little boy's room is occupied. Oh, do you have a cig?
Sure.
Oh, such a pretty case, Silver.
Yes. Yes, read the inscription.
Oh, is there an inscription? Can't make it out. Oh. And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. Oh. That is my favorite, one of my favorite sonnets from Mrs. Browning. I'm drunk. That is from Mrs. Browning.
You know it?
I certainly do.
Oh, so as you saw, we enjoy each other and the process, and that we have to make jokes. And yeah, Blanche's lines are a mouthful sometimes. So,
So I'm drunk.
it's
not
good.
actually in
I'm
the
drunk
script.
is not in the script ever, but she is drunk a lot.
Yes.
So it works.
It sure did. It sure did. Anything else about what we saw that you'd like to comment on?
Well, just everything she was saying, obviously 3 weeks before opening,
Yeah.
and we're putting things together, and so it's fun to just be able to play and see the arc of the production for the first time.
The cast includes 4 other actors, some of whom play more than one role.
Okay.
Monica Coletti, who is the upstairs neighbor, Charles McKeithen, who's the upstairs neighbor's husband and poker player, and Mary Lou Torrey, who has a lot of different roles, and Philip Raupak, who's also playing several roles. So we kind of made a smaller cast out of it as well.
Now, this play takes place in the South, in New Orleans, as do many of Tennessee Williams' plays. And in the South, it gets very hot. So, barring turning up the thermostat in the theater, how will you convey the heat through the sets or the lighting design or the costume design?
Well, a little bit of not something that's within our control, basically. The building that we are in is a 90-year-old building. There isn't enough insulation in the roof, so when it's hot outside, which it has been and perhaps will be again, it gets a little hot inside too, and the lights are so low down too. The stage lights tend to really heat up the place. So our thermostat's on high, chugging away, trying to get that air blowing as much as possible. But you will certainly see the heat in all of us. So.
Yes. And it's partly through costume, and, you know, it's a state of mind for the actors.
Yes, absolutely.
And, of course, the fans.
And there, you know, there are parts in the play when a thunderstorm passes through, which is very typical for summer in the South. And so it kind of goes through various weather stages.
Using the little hanky.
Right?
Powder.
Yes. Bathing a
Yes.
lot.
Yeah.
Again.
Bathing. Yes.
Part of what's exciting about Streetcar is, as you were saying, the clash between the two worlds of the old ways and the new ways, the nostalgia and dreams and the in-your-face reality. So is there a way that you will help convey that through lights and costumes and the elements in addition to the acting?
Some of that does come into play in the set design. Choices that we make to try and convey the two worlds in conflict. I don't want to talk about it too much. I would rather that audiences see it and kind of assess that for themselves, or maybe they won't even think about it consciously, but it will be something that sets a mood, sets a tone for them as they're watching. But it's mostly in the text. It's mostly there for the actors to bring out, to embody. And that's really where it comes from. I mean, even if it were just on a bare stage with no set at all,
We're
it
still
would
telling
still
this amazing story.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it would still be there.
Because it's all about the relationships. So.
Yes. Wow. Anything else you want to say about the story or the characters?
Well, they're just so rich and wonderful and timeless, as we were talking. So people who know about it or have at least heard of it, we hope will be interested in coming to see it.
There is a big audience in the Bay Area, especially on the Peninsula, for classics. And this one is certainly one of the most iconic American works. And it being an anniversary of Williams, I know a lot of theaters locally are doing different works of Williams. But we're hoping to put a bit of a definitive spin on Streetcar.
Dragon usually does rarely produced works. Obviously, Streetcar is not so rarely produced, or else maybe back in the day it was produced more. But yes, we wanted to tell our own story. We wanted to do an homage to Tennessee Williams' birthday and to a great American playwright.
And it should be on everybody's bucket list to go see.
We hope so.
Yeah.
We absolutely hope so.
Yes, yes.
Definitely.
So tell us about the other plays that you do at Dragon and what's in store for the Dragon Theater in the future.
Well, we are just about to announce our 2012 season. We'll actually announce it in the program of Streetcar, so everyone needs to wait for 2 more weeks. But we actually are in the calendar season at Dragon, so we're right in the middle of our 2011 season. Other theater companies kind of starting their next season right now. But 2012 will be our final season at this facility. We will definitely be moving for 2013 season. Stay tuned for more excitement. We don't exactly know where we're going to go. We really hope that we get to remain in downtown Palo Alto. That is our goal. So we'll see what happens.
Yes. Well, it's a worthy goal because we need theater in downtown Palo Alto.
Well, thank you. I like to think so. There's so much vibrancy, so much going on right there, and we really want to entertain there as well.
What's the show after Streetcar?
Sister Cities by Colette Friedman. It's another show that most people probably haven't heard of, but it's a wonderfully witty, funny comedy. So very excited.
Be a nice
It
switch.
will be a nice switch.
Yes.
That's what we try to do at Dragon. We try to offer a little something for everybody.
So again, A Streetcar Named Desire is running July 29th through August 21st.
Yes.
And people can go to your website to get more information about the show.
Yes, they can.
So what is the URL?
www.dragonproductions.net. So you can find out all the information, including the upcoming season listing, and box office information, all kinds of information you can find on our website.
All right, great. Well, Meredith, Jeannie, it has been great having you on Peninsula Backstage.
Thank you so much for having us.
Great to talk about Tennessee Williams and A Streetcar Named Desire.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's just an exciting time for the Dragon Theater.
Yes, it is. Very exciting.
Yes, great. Well, we're about out of time, so this has been Peninsula Backstage, the show that looks inside local live theater and talks about upcoming productions that you can go see. And we have a brand new Facebook page, so Facebook members, please search for us, search for our page, like us, and you'll get occasional updates about the show. And I think that's about it.
Okay.
That's about it. Happy birthday, Tennessee Williams.
Happy birthday, Tennessee Williams. Come on, come and see the show.